In this presentation, we will continue on with our corporation comprehensive problem recording insurance purchase. For more accounting information and accounting courses, visit our website at accountinginstruction.info. Information will be in the upper left. We're going to enter that into our general journal, then post that to the general ledger, creating the trial balance from it. So we've got the paid cash for a year's worth of insurance. First question I would always ask, is cash affected? We're going to say yes it is because we paid cash. All we need are those first few terms. Paid cash, that's where we would start. Cash has $43,000, it's a debit. We need to make it go down, so we're going to do the opposite thing to it, which in this case is a credit. Now the other side, if we say, okay, cash is going down, the other side is, well, what did we get? We purchased insurance. Now you might think, well, is insurance going to be an asset or an expense? And if you look at it, you see, okay, here's insurance, an asset. On the trial balance, here's an expense. Which one do we use? And the answer is going to almost always be for insurance that we're going to first put it into the prepaid insurance, which is an asset account, as opposed to the expense. Why would we do that? Because by definition, insurance is something we pay for before we consume it. We haven't used the policy. The insurance is insuring us against accidents in the future. And usually we pay for it to get a better deal. We pay for more than 1 month of insurance oftentimes. So if we're paying like we do here for a year's worth of insurance, then it wouldn't make sense for us to expense it all at the time of payment, because that would result in net income being very low with this month related to the next month. And it would be an unfair representation of net income because next month we're still have insurance that we had to cover ourselves. However, we paid for it in the prior month. So from a how are you doing standpoint, from a standpoint of how is the company doing in terms of performance, not in terms of cash flow, but performance, it wouldn't really be fair. It'll distort things for us to expense an entire year's worth of insurance in the year of purchase. We want to be able to allocate it throughout the time period. So what we're going to have then is prepaid insurance is going to be the asset that we'll put on the books, and then we will adjust it as we go. So journal entry, debit prepaid insurance, credit cash. And again, I would think of it as cash being credited first, thinking about what is easiest to do, not necessarily working from top to bottom, left to right. Just, okay, cash makes the most sense. I'm going to do that first, even if I have to put it on top first. And then think about what the other account will be doing, because it's easier to do that way. If we have to then go back and reformat to put the credits on the bottom and the debit on the top, which is just normal conventional formatting, then we can do that. That formatting, however, has no application necessity, meaning you could have the debit on the bottom, the credit on the top. It doesn't hurt anything as long as you're representing it in a way that you can understand it. As you get to more complex journal entries, I'll recommend actually doing that sometimes if it will help you to go back and see what you have done. But if it's all the same and it doesn't take away from any kind of understanding, then putting the debits on the top and the credits on the bottom is the standard convention. And obviously, if you look at a computer program, we're going to have to tell the computer program to do something like that. So a computer program will often just automatically do that, and that's the convention of a computer program that we told it to do that just by default. So then if we post this, then we've got the prepaid insurance and cash. So here's prepaid insurance, here's cash, they're both assets. We're going to post that to the general ledger. Here's the GL, here's cash, here's prepaid insurance. So don't do the prepaid rent, prepaid insurance. This account I don't think should even be there, but prepaid insurance and cash. So then we're going to focus in on those accounts. Remember that the cash is going to have more detail, because cash we deal with a lot more than just about any other account. So here's the cash account, here's prepaid insurance, here's prepaid insurance on our journal entry. We're going to debit prepaid insurance, increasing it in the debit direction to the $12,000. Then we're going to credit cash. So here's our cash account. We're going to credit cash. That's going to bring the $43,000 balance down by $12,000 to $31,000. Again, note the running balance here, and note how we can also think of it as a T account. Meaning if we were adding up the T account, we would say the 80 plus 3 would be 83,000 and then we would say the 40 and the 12 would be 52,000, and if we took the difference between those, we should get the 31,000. So we can see it in terms of this T account, and if we were doing a really quick calculation, we would just use the T account and sum up the totals. But if we can, and I highly recommend doing it, the running balance is going to be very useful, and we'll always be able to use a running balance if we have software or something like that. And it's useful to do by hand in a problem such as this as well, so that we can see how this whole thing just gives us a bit more detail. Now we're going to look at this 31 and the 12 for the cash and the prepaid insurance and use those to construct the trial balance. So here's our trial balance. Here's the cash. Again, yours is going to stop right here. There's the 31. You don't have to retype it all the way down. But the 31 is being used to create the trial balance. That's our new change now. And then prepaid insurance has now changed. So again, you probably hear, you don't have to type it twice or write it in twice, but here's the prepaid insurance. Those are the changes that have happened. All of these other accounts are still coming from the GL. They're being constructed, the GL is being used to construct them, but they haven't changed since the prior transaction. So if we consider what has happened now, we can say, okay, this account went up with the debit, and this account went down with a credit. So in terms of our accounting equation, the assets went up, and the assets went down. Nothing else happened anywhere else. Nothing happened here, nothing happened here. Nothing happened to equity, nothing happened to liabilities, nothing happened to equity. Those remain the same. So in terms of the accounting equation, we paid cash, which is our favorite asset, and we got prepaid insurance, something that we expect to consume in the future. Why don't we have it as an expense, or when are we going to expense it? As we consume it, as we use it. When are we going to be able to know when that happens? When we do the adjusting entries at the end of the month. We'll think about, okay, how much of the insurance have we actually consumed? How much of the policy has actually expired? And how much usage of this 12,000 have we received? Then we'll reduce this, and we will record the expense as we consume the insurance over time. For more accounting information and accounting courses, visit our website at accountinginstruction.info.